Fiona, but otherwise you've got quite a bit of lane priority in the bot lane. Top lane, you're going to be safe. Talia is going to be so terrifying in the early game. And it's a tempo-based comp, really, that we're seeing here on the side of Fredabreon. The Ashe pick, we'll see what she ends up building, but it's certainly scary as well. I mean, I think there's so much engage that she has. She has good, consistent damage output. The slows are going to make it difficult to utilize the Gnar. So I like where we are here for Fredabreon in the early game. The later stages, though, get scarier and scarier when you look at DRX.
Yeah, I'd say so, too. I think their team fight is very, very standard. You could understand what they're going to be going for, fighting around objectives, things like that. But I think that you can go toe-to-toe with what Fredabreon have put together. And I think one of the really interesting things is we hop onto the Rift.
Pretty aggressive attempt from Becca and Bao there to trade something back. Okay, here comes an all-in at 6.
Yep, looking for it. Ulti comes down. That's the flick back and a very, very swift and comfortable first blood for Chieftain. Welcome to the LCK, my friend. Already. Play onto that one.
He's coming. And they do have vision of this, but I don't think it's going to help them escape, sadly.
Ooh, Hook is going to miss, unfortunately, as Bao throws out the Moonlight Vigil. Doesn't really do too much as Lava's looking to make his way in as well. And here's the dive. Ulti comes through from Lava, doesn't land it onto the Aphelios, but it does not matter. They have easily enough damage, despite that turret really ramping up onto Chieftain there.
Could be pretty nice or just okay, depending on the situation, as Arrow comes in.
Yeah. It's actually going to be soaked by the Watch Out Heap. I like it, but Flick is still going to connect, and there's the Shockwave out onto Chieftain. Solka still looking for the damage as Becca's hook is fantastic. Delight finds a couple of charms there as Lava has the sword out and does manage to lock down 2 kills with the help of Henna there as well. But now Kingan's going to make his way in, and Bao's getting fed off the back end. It's a double, make it a triple for the Gnar, as Kingan's going to take control of this game.
All that new items. It's definitely what you'd expect to see, and that is what we see here. Lava with a nice
teleport coming through. Yeah, you can see Hoya's going to make his way in. Arrow's going to connect as that's a big stun. Couple picked up into the air from Lava as Pyosik trying to get himself out. Hoya throws in a barrel to try and lock down Kingan, but they only get one, and it's going to be DRX to secure the Drake. They'd probably be okay with that.
Shirley's a person, too.
Yeah, exactly. I apologize. How dare I? There were 5 champions and Shirley.
Well, they don't even secure the turret. They're just going to hard engage this, but where's the follow-up? Delight's not in position. Like, this was a bit sloppy from Fredabreon. Like, I just took the play-by-play away from you because it wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't going to fight because they kind of messed that one up.
Yeah, a little bit sad. But they do get the cleanse out of Bao, and you'll always trade cleanse for the arrow. Not bad at all.
But DRX feel very comfortable to just start Baron now. Because, like, oh, you used half your really good engage tools and didn't get anything? What are you going to do in a fight now? How are you going to control these chokes as the attackers? Very difficult.
Well, there is a charm that they could potentially line up. Let's see whether they can make this one work. Lava as well, off towards the side. And it looks like DRX were just trying to bait bowling balls going wide.
And they're going to do something similar here again with this mid-push. And actually take the... While they defend this, they're going to take the bottom side Drake. Mountain Drake looks like it's just going to go over without a hitch.
That's too easy. Fredabreon sort of kept left napping a little bit, but the arrow's going to connect. This is what we were talking about. Flick comes back. A very dead Bao. And I like that. Look, they didn't manage to pick up the Drake. They didn't manage to set up for it, but they certainly took a timer on that cleanse and said, we got it. Now let's kill him. Yeah. So we can celebrate that one for Fredabreon.
Playing it very slow, waiting for Lava to show himself top, then kind of slowly pushing this wave mid, try to take that Baron vision away. It is working out slowly.
Yep, we're going for a force though as Kingan, not with very much of a Narbar, but does still have a lot of his health as he takes that Lantern. Lava, we go back to his unbound soul as the flash has to come through. The triple play comes out from Becca, who's still trying to be a hero. Bao not quite getting enough damage there from the Moonlight Vigil as the barrel comes down as a bit of a fadeaway there from Hoya as the Gnar comes back. Kingan trying to be a hero. They grab the Seraphine, and once again, Becca's there with the save. Body slam from Hoya gets himself to relative safety, and the house is going to miss for the moment. But this is the power of DRX, the multiple engages, and let's just see whether DRX can capitalize. As Kingan, he's found Hoya, and he's a problem, man. This Gnar is huge. The rest of Fredabreon could be in trouble. Hook is going to go wide there as that's the flick over the wall. Bao tries to keep himself alive, but he ain't gonna. Henna now goes golden. Kingan is going to look to deal with him. The crunch comes down. And that absolutely worked out there as Lava gets walloped. Should be able to go back to his unbound soul, and he's just CC'd forever. Becca going to go golden as well as Fredabreon looking to make their way out. The sleep comes through once again, and the ulti has to be used to get Lava to safety this time. And now Chieftain could be in trouble, but Kingen not going to chase into all of those pebbles flying his way.
Where DRX is trying to come through this angle where Becca just took. Meanwhile, they're just going to stand here and get hooked instead. Okay.
Wow, really nice hook. Coming out onto Chieftain, who should be able to make it out to relative safety. Goes golden as Henna trying to keep them away, but no. Not going to happen, and now Kingen's made his way in. This guy's gigantic. He's got himself a BF sword at the same time as ulti comes through from lava, but immediately he has to hop back. Don't know whether that was the ulti that he really wanted at that point in time, but sometimes you got to try and make a play, and Fredabreon decided that now was the time. As DRX now just looking to try and take down this Baron, and they should be able to do so. There's no jungler on the map, and Hoya's like, yeah, ain't gonna be me, boy.
Yeah, he's like, I could cast them all into the wall and then die, but maybe I'll just push mid. The follow-up hasn't been there.
Yeah.
There's another one.
That's a goal right there, as you can see. Oh my god, Bao caught out of position. The shockwave hits no one, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't go down as Kingen gets a double ulti back. Great play as well, as Chieftain is well and truly dead. Bao doesn't want to walk through the pebbles. He's just going to wait that one out, so he's not going to be there for the rest of the fight. But DRX just looks too strong, and by DRX, I mean Kingen looks too strong as Lava goes back to his unbound soul, and Kingen's just like, I got a GA, man. I don't care about this.
Last attempt in the mid lane. That was a good idea, right? I mean, they had the cast flank, but it's not enough.
Oh, there's another Gnar. Just goes in and gets Henna. Just takes him out. It is going to be the GA, most likely pops, but no, actually no. Never mind, this Gnar is just too huge, still going in, and the GA goes down. Hoya is going to answer, but he is way lower and doesn't really have any means of being in here. Does have to flash, gets himself out, and actually did have the stopwatch Zhonya's combo, so kept himself in status for a very long time as Becca looking to come home. That's going to be a dissonance to help him out there as Lava trying to get forward and does lock him down with the ulti. But I don't know whether he's going to be alive, and Bao is going to take him down. The first death for Lava is a bit of a sad one.
Chance left in this game, and to survive, to prolong the game. It's not going to, like, win them the game. Here we go.
Well, Wall is going to wall them off. I actually really like this play. It's very cute. Bao comes in. Moonlight Vigil does a lot of damage. It is going to be the Baron secured, but can they actually win the fight? As the ulti comes in and Lava disappears. That was an odd one. Bao is going to flash, but immediately Chieftain's going to make it over the wall as now Hoya goes for a bit of a fadeaway jump shot and does get himself to relative safety. Empowered back will make it so that the Gragas survives, but that's a couple of Barons now in trade for most likely a Nexus.
Any other choice? They had to try for it.
Yeah, big shockwave comes in. It's going to be Becca that steals away the kill. I think this Thresh has been fantastic so far this game. 12 out of 13 when it comes to kill participation is fantastic for a game approaching 40 minutes. The Nexus will go down, and DRX, despite, you know, being up against and look, there were some questionable performances across the board as we do have a look at the post-game stats. Kingen certainly ruling the world on his Gnar. This was one of our better Gnar performances, absolutely, but look, Lava didn't have a great game. He was 2-0-3 and then did absolutely nothing, died a couple of times, and then it was over, is sort of what it felt like. The Ashe Seraphine weren't able to push any advantages on the bottom side of the map. The Gragas went full damage. There was a lot to not like about how this was handled once we got into the game from Fredabreon, but
Crashdown is just going to be repeatedly used in the lane, try to get that pressure off. You're going to see those attract and repel, really nice counter engage that you can have versus an Alistar tries to headbutt in or pulverize. So I really like the bottom lane matchup in the vacuum on the side of DRX, and I think that it means that the mid prio that we're going to see from Lava that he has to have consistently with the rotations from Talia are really going to be what defines this bottom lane. I think you're going to have to kind of leave Hoya on his own to play defensively, to play safe in the top lane against the Aatrox. He's probably just going to have to sit there and play a solo queue game, but the bottom lane, I think that's where all the attention needs to go for Fredabreon here.
yeah, we'll see whether the Callista can reach that mid game that we know she's capable of. A little bit more awkward now with mythic items coming in, putting things back just a little bit, but we've seen with Shield Bow.
Going to take that away, so that's a nice little start here in terms of the Drakes. As meanwhile,
well, Kingen going to get delivered to the turret, which is absolutely not what he wants. Does take the right way out as Lava, once again, taking a bit of damage, but will be absolutely fine. You know, Kingen does lose his flash against Hoya, but he's still farming very effectively up against the Gragas, putting on a lot of pressure, as you can see, is Fredabreon. Wanting to answer back, but Pioshik does the old walk lazily to the left move. And that one worked out very nicely. Henna, though, sorry, Becca delivered back to the rest of Fredabreon, and now Pioshik comes in, end of the line. Coming on down as Lava looking to get into position as Bao diving on forward. Collateral damage not enough to get rid of the cow, but I did like the effort. And I think that it was Bao that managed to pick up that red buff because he does have one.
Yeah.
And that is, that's not necessarily normal.
So they don't get a kill, but really nice trade overall.
That's a big flash engage, and Hoya's just going to look a little bit silly at the back end of this one, but no, he's actually got Umpty, who will turn up and try and save this one, King, and we'll see how many Umbral dashes he has.
Pioshik's
trying
here.
to get in here. In goes Pioshik. It will be Kingen falling down, but can Pioshik actually answer this one back? So far, the answer is no, as Hoya's just trolling him in the minion wave. Oh no, it's the saddest little Graves, as he has to quick draw to get out of the seismic shove, and Hoya is going to make it to safety.
The power of Talia is still real. You really have to respect how quickly she can rotate around the map. She got them a kill. She's gotten them both Drakes because of faster rotation speed. And Lava, where are you, man?
I just took like 3 turret shots, 2 turret shots, but culling is going to be respected, and Lava will walk out with about 200 health. Still, I mean, allow them access to this river, but it looks like the patrol of DRX is going to be working out for now. And this is the Samira fight that I believe DRX are going to be looking for. It is just a back to come down from the Callista, though, so not really interested in fighting for this Mountain Drake, and Fred at Brion understanding they don't have the correct positioning, but don't be kidded, okay?
Well, once again, DRX get disadvantage on the Drake, and they're just going to try to trade it for a Baron. DRX is not going to let this happen. Like, this actually doesn't work. You can't just say, well, if you're going to go to the bottom part, we'll go to the top part. It's not a one-for-one like that.
I mean, it looks like you can. I mean, what are they doing? But here, the Baron is getting taken down extraordinarily low. They've got a Callista for the lockdown as well. These sticks can be pulled out for a lot of damage. You can see all of them are in there, and that's just a free Baron. I've been in Korea, if you're ever in any of the... we sort of have public gyms sort of thing sometimes. A lot of them sort of like in parks and things like that. But there's often just hula hoops just hanging around. That was that reminded me of that, as Solka just sort of throws that one in. We've got a Weaver's Wall to break off Pioshik. He does, of course, have his quick draw. He gets over that wall very comfortably. And yes, the pacifism is going to continue.
They have
got a dash, so the light's never going to be able to find him. Becca now over the wall. Hoya's going to turn up.
There we go.
In. That's going to bring back Pioshik. And finally, there's another kill. The Graves falls down. The culling comes in. Bladewell's great. But the flash forward from Henna, and that is a dead horse clothes lady. And that is 2 kills. Is this just going to be the end of the game?
It could be.
2 kills, and that's it. Fred at Brion, no Baron left available, but now they're looking to break open this base. And this gold score starting to really balloon out of control, despite the fact that there hasn't been any action whatsoever. I feel like DRX's trade of Mountain Drake number 2 for the Baron.
Taking this advantage into team fights, and that means this game is just going to continue to go on for a lot longer. As Hoya they don't know where he is. Pioshik is comboed here and then knocked in to Lava and Umpty, who will answer that. As you see
the
back
cast was so beautiful out of Hoya. And of course, you know, mentioning that the game could be over was absolutely being facetious. Because, of course, we don't. But this push down the mid lane with the augmentation of some super creeps is going to be strong. Kingen now finds himself alone as he dives on in. 3-man knock-up with the 3rd Q. Great, as now Becca gets delivered into Hoya. Kingen is going to go down, though, but has he bought enough time? I think the answer is going to be no. It's a double kill for Henna. The S rank ain't good enough. Make that a triple. It could be the quadra kill, but no. Hoya is going to steal that one away, and I mentioned that it might have been over before. I think it could definitely be now, as Umpty puts the last couple of rocks into Rel, and that's going to be your Omen ace.
Very impressive engage here for Fred at Brion. For the first time in this series, they take Baron control vision back. They push mid with the super minions. And this time, they're not just running it down mid. They're forcing an engage in mid that successfully leads to a team wipe. And then bringing this series back to a 3rd game. Players right now. On the side of Fred at Brion, he's actually the one who's making those initiations happen. He's actually the one who's just, all right, I'm going to flank and we're going to actually set up a cask. And you guys will get kills, I promise. It's going to happen.
Oh, God.
We will see kills. We saw very few in this game. But at the end of the day, Fred at Brion, a very, very slow but steady wins the race style of game that they played. And that Baron decision is going to haunt DRX heading into the 3rd game.
It's certainly... So I think it's fine. To have a look at the draft, like, and go into how team fights are going to look just a little bit. I like the heroic entrance on top of the Lamb's Respite, but I don't like picking Kindred into Gragas ever. I think it's just bad. So they're gonna have to play around Hoya and the explosive cask very effectively to get any value out of this Kindred whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be the big scary moment when you're trying to rely on that Lamb's Respite, but if you can actually chip away at the opponent's side, if you get that range advantage and actually do tons of damage where you're kind of using that at the end of the fight and not the beginning, towards the later parts, you know, the cast might already be gone. So I'm pretty hopeful for DRX's composition here.
Well, we'll see how it goes as we hop onto the rift for game number 3, the decider. Is it going to be Fredit Brion's second victory here? And we'll see whether Delight's just going to be able to do it again. Doesn't quite have it off cooldown just yet. As Pyosik looking for a potential dive. This is dangerous as Delight gets a headbutt onto Becca. He's gonna flash, gets himself out of the way, survives for now as he drinks through the potion. That's why you press the potion button, ladies and gentlemen. And first blood goes to DRX.
Another dive in the bot lane, but this time Umti is here. They can actually cut Umti off. They don't have vision, and this is actually a really nice engage here already for Delight.
Yeah, big knock-up, headbutt back onto Becca. He is definitely dead. The stick's going to get pulled out. Umti turns up, and no follow-up re-engage or anything like that available for Pyosik. So just a little bit unfortunate in the 2v2.
Again, has been up and down in that regard.
Yep.
As we're going to watch this again. So you see Kindred is rotating down, but it's like, okay, you're way too slow. We're actually just going to engage. The light comes in, the headbutt after the pulverize is perfect.
Oh, no. And also the teleport was interrupted there on the top side as well. I believe Hoya just body slammed his way into the brush.
There it is.
Yep. Sees him. And yeah, that was just way too easy. King and I don't...
Yeah.
Pretty inexcusable.
Henna, who actually got that wave pushed. There's nobody in the bot lane. He's pinging it out there, but obviously they know that. They're right here in their face. Everyone for DRX really wants this Herald. Really good delay here so far for Fredit Brion. He's coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be stolen away there, as you can see. Immediately, Bao is just eliminated. Great cast for the delivery as the flash in from Umti's trying to get himself towards some decent sleeps, but only lands it onto Solka, but that's the target they wanted. Umti grabs that kill yet again, and Pyosik trying to dance his way out of here. Ultimate in a better scenario, possibly in a team fight, not wanting to give up that extra power, as the inner turret's going to get charged here by DRX. So that's at least something that they're adding back, but Fredit Brion will be able to take down the outer turret on the bottom side of the map, and that's going to be much better than just a bit of chip damage onto an inner turret. Few of the mythics coming in here. As Strybreaker done for Kingen. Possibly a fight though, as there's the Justice Punch. Good taunt onto Delight, but immediately the Fate's Call comes in, and you can see Pyosik's out of position. The heroic entrance might actually just be a death sentence, unfortunately, for Becca, who has to flash out. Hoya immediately there is going to answer as the cast comes through, but it just is going to take Becca on a ride, but he still just walks back in and dies to lava. Still, Hoya is going to be taken, so not exactly the worst trade for DRX, but some questionable play.
Yeah, definitely a little bit overextendy there, and could have played it a lot safer, but regardless...
for the Fredit Brion team. Teleport here towards the bottom side is Hoya. Oh man, I might have cast a Kirsten real bad, as he could be out of position. Pyosik going to be pushed back though, as Hoya's just going to have to try and drink and hope that everything's going to be okay. It's not going to be though, as Kingen's going to be able to get Mega Enough, finds it with the last hyper.
And there's just no objective just yet, so they're actually just trying to push that out for the next one. And DRX, they need to be decisive here.
Well, Lava down to about half health. You can see, yeah, DRX looking for a fight. Not going to quite find it just yet, as Umti still with that sleep available. We'll have to watch out for Bao, I think.
Yeah, they just showed it for like a split second, so my eyes weren't able to catch it, but doesn't seem like it based on the range here.
Okay, Fate's Call for the engage. That's going to be the Justice Punch's Delight with the Unbreakable Will is going to be able to keep himself alive. That gravity field's in a perfect position. As now Fredit Brion getting pushed back. Solka a lot of damage right now. Level 14 in comparison to the 13 of Lava. And now Henna able to dance away from that one, but not quite enough. As the Qs are starting to hurt, that's a big boulder straight into the back of Henna, but he does keep himself up with his shield bow. And now this tower is under siege. There's the headbutt into the tower from Kingen. And now the flash forward, but the answering flash from Hoya is going to be good, and that's going to mean that we're going to have a disengage. But still, not quite enough space being bought. So it's going to be okay. This Cloud Drake under fire from DRX, but it looks like Umti's going to be able to get in here, and it looks like DRX are just going to be a little bit too nervous to take this one. It's 3 versus 4 at this stage, as Umti can actually flash over this wall if he wants to. Gonna go golden first, let the rest of his team arrive, but eventually does have to flash. I believe that was a Zonya's, so it doesn't really lose out on too much. Not like he's breaking a stopwatch or anything like that. Still with his teleport available, as he's slinking up from the bottom side and doesn't actually have to teleport in or anything like that. DRX get inside track on this outer turret in the mid lane as the rest of Fredit Brion wanting to start a fight. Just going to take a little bit of poke damage, otherwise not too much more. Solka has to flash to get out of the way of the Cullen Chaos Storm. Going to be the answer as there's the Unbreakable Will Delight. 3-man pulverize is good as in goes on. Sleeps absolutely everyone. And now Fred and Breon are just going to take them one after the other. Kingen, relatively low health, but does have the Mega Nut, pushes a bunch of them back in as Lava will be taken down, and now it might be Bao's turn to finish off this fight. Henna trying to bounce around, but it's a triple kill. And finally, we see the DRX marksman actually do something.
It felt like, okay, this is Fred and Breon. They're going to take this back. They're going to win this fight no matter what for sure. But in those scrappy fights, that's what you end up with. Is Hoya is just barely going to be able to sustain himself up enough to take this Drake, it looks like. But again, a Baron trade for a Drake, that's not what you want.
Yeah.
Well, this is a pretty different situation, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Not going to be the same as last game, so not nearly as egregious, but still.
What is now, as we're going to watch this again. It's an incredible sleep. It is all 5, in fact, as everybody got grouped up there, so nice engage. Well, what happens next is perhaps the most important part, which I guess we're not going to see, which is that,
the inhibitor turret's going to go down, and DRX now trying to push forward. Fred and Breon still. Trigger hasn't been pulled. They've got all of the R buttons available, but none of them are getting pressed, and they'll lose 2 inhibitors. And I like this. DRX making sure that they can get something done, but here's the hard engage. Hoya looking for the flanking play. Pyoshik possibly out of position, but now Hoya has to deal with him instead as Becca over to the side looking for that big taunt. Heroic entrance, though, will be interrupted. Becca's pretty tanky at this point in time, though, and the front line's not quite there. Hoya goes golden, though. He's buying the time, looking for the opportunity. Kingen can't necessarily get back into this one. And it's just 1 kill, but it might be enough. Well, they can start pushing things back out again as Henna just going to go in by himself. Has the ulti available as Fate's Call will allow Delight to get delivered. And Becca buys time, actually flashes out and will survive for the moment. Delight now Unbreakable will keep him alive as Bladewell as well. Just getting rid of any opportunity for that bowling ball to get worked on. They do have the Callista, so they are going to be able to take that one down. As in goes Kingen, gets the ulti back onto the members of Fred and Breon. Heroic entrance as well to augment the CC, and that S-Rank ain't going to do it. Oh dear, this could just be the end for Fred and Breon, unfortunately. DRX find the team fight, they find the Baron. Hoya finds his Zhonya's, but he'll also find the Death Chamber.
They're able to take that fight there as they turn away from the Baron and onto Fred and Breon and close this series out. A series that was much closer, I feel like, than it needed to be, but it ends up being DRX in the end. Much closer than I think what they wanted it to be. It was definitely a little bit scary at times when you expect a pretty clean 2-0 out of DRX. I think most people would when you look at their high highs this season.
No, I agree. And once again, I mean, the Samir not doing actually a lot of damage. Was able to get those few kills in that second last team fight that we saw. I think that was what allowed DRX